I'm Joe Gillis, and this is Odin Abbott.
Hello.
And we just returned from the Kinetic Grand Championship, which is a race that combines art, engineering, fun, all into a 3-day race in Humboldt County. It's a race where it's basically a bunch of bikes that are big art sculptures. So you're pedaling along for these 40-something miles over 3 days to get to the finish line. But what's really cool is you're not just going on like a street, you're going on sand.
You're going upriver near a bay.
Upriver near a bay, if you couldn't understand what he said.
And then on the third day, you cross another river. There's a second water crossing on the third day, yeah.
There's 2 water crossings if you didn't get what he just said because he's muffled. You know what's
the hell?
Yeah, well, what's amazing is he actually rode the first day of the race completely wearing this thing because Odin is insane. And you did, what, about half the race on the last day?
Yeah.
Half of the
Maybe a little
course?
more.
Maybe a little bit more. Yeah. So he basically did probably about half the race wearing this thing. Now, go ahead and pull it off, and let's go ahead and just talk here.
Are you sure?
Yeah, well, you know.
This probably doesn't improve things a whole lot.
Maybe not too much, but at least it will be not so much like. So we've done this before.
We've done the race before. We did it in 2015 because we went out, with Beyond Geek. Did a 2-part episode documenting the entire race following the Hot Roddenberrys. So this last year in 2018, they rethemed their same art car, made new art for it, called themselves Mad Plants, Beyond Thunderclone. And the theme was a mashup between Plants, Venus Flytrap, and Mad Max. Everyone thought it was like Little Shop of Horrors, but whatever, this is so carnivorous.
Well, it's funny because Brent was adamant about it not being Little Shop of Horrors. But basically it was like Audrey 3.0.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
And so it was one of those things where it was like, I get you don't want to call it this, Brent.
Right.
But when we were Hot Roddenberries, we were just owning it. We're like, it's like part Star Trek, part
Star
Grease.
Trek, part Grease, part whatever.
So we actually got to do it the first time, but we actually didn't join in the race and pedal so much. I technically was part of a bike.
Yes, but because the sound man was nice enough to haul your butt around for 2.5 days until the bike broke. Yeah.
He's a trooper.
Yes.
I've been harder.
Not in the episode at all, because that's behind the scenes. We don't show that.
That's sort of like how we did the race, and I was actually pulled along in the camera cart for the first 2 days. It actually broke down when we went down Lolita Hill, where I would have died if it would have happened only like a mile earlier when we were actually going down the hill.
So you went down the hill in the cart?
I went down the hill in the cart, and that was actually pretty scary.
I imagine.
And so we go down the hill with the cart, and then we turn the corner to head to the beach, which is the end of day 2. And the pole on it breaks and hits the ground and nearly throws me off.
Yes.
And for day 3, I ended up throwing on like a Ronin, sticking my head out of the top of I think Ivan's car, if I remember correctly.
I think it was Ivan's car.
Putting my feet on his dashboard and on something behind me, propping myself up and pushing me out the sunroof, and that's how I shot that, and then I walked the other areas. That might seem like an easy thing, but it was really uncomfortable. So riding a bike on day 3 was much better for me this time.
Yes.
The rest of the stuff, however, I was like, it would have been easier having Ivan pull me, but that's cool. So this time we decided to go ahead and actually do the race ourselves.
And now Ken and June brought the older stuff out because this was the 50th race, right?
It was.
This was race number 50.
The race actually began in 1969 when Hobart turned his son's tricycle into the pentacycle.
To the pentacycle, right.
Yeah, and so Justin used to leave his little tricycle out in front of his dad's shop, and people complained about it, so he decided to turn it into a piece of art.
So there, now you can't complain, it's art.
Yeah. And all of a sudden his buddy Jack May saw it and he's like, I can build a better machine than that. And of course, guys being guys, they're like, hey, we should race them, right?
Yes.
So it turned into this race that started as, this fluke little thing between friends. And then that first race had like a dozen entries, and it's grown from there. So pretty much day 1 was just us pedaling bikes.
Pretty much day
And it
one was us
awesome.
pedaling bikes.
Well,
'cause
except for we walked on the beach together.
we walked on the beach together trying to catch up because there's a point when you stop and you have to take the street tires off the machine to put the sand tires onto the machine and maybe switch it over to the sand gears so you can take the machine the however many miles up the beach. So Rachel's coming along trying to get us some food, and we meet up with her, and by the time we come back, the machine's gone. They got themselves together. It's like, okay, let's go, and off they went. And so we spent the entire beach walking it, trying to catch up the machine. Yeah, that's it up there, I think. Yeah, that's it.
And I had ran it before, so
Yeah,
I
no.
was like, let's just chill and walk it. We'll hopefully catch up to it eventually.
And this guy doesn't run.
So we got to walk the beach together, and then we headed up to June's Dunes.
Right.
And then at some point, Scott was going to actually have us go down Dead Man's, and we were going to do it a lot like we did in the episode, where Dan actually got on the side.
On the side that did the
and it was a
outrigger thing.
counter.
Yeah,
weight.
counter weight,
Yeah,
right.
One of us was going to do it.
Oh, I was
It was
gonna
probably
do it.
going to be him.
I was totally gonna do it.
But then Scott realized there's nowhere on the machine to do it, so
Yeah.
we just had to plunge down Deadman's and hope for the best.
Hope for the best.
And it worked.
And it plunged right down without a problem at all.
Yeah, it worked a lot better than last time.
Yes.
And so we did that, and then day 2 is the fun day where you actually get to launch into the water.
Right.
Go on for speed!
Then that's when we actually took over, is after it got back from
Right.
the water.
Drop the pontoons off of it back to being roadworthy and
And so we actually got a pilot, and this wasn't the first time I actually piloted the machine. When we,
right. You got to do the Hot Roddenberrys a tiny bit.
yes. So when we were filming, because I knew I was going to write the episode,
Right.
I took and hopped into the machine when we were heading to the river to actually test it out. So I pedaled it
Okay.
for a couple miles there.
And I'm trying to remember, having edited the episode, I think one of the water launches on the test day, you're piloting it.
Yes.
In one of the shots.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went in, which I gotta say, freaking like a lot of people are scared to take these machines out in the water, but it is hecka fun.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
You know, that's the great thing with doing the show is
Yeah.
a lot of times I get to jump in and actually do the stuff, because really the show is a bunch of stuff I like that we're covering, but then
Right.
I don't get to do it. So it's sort of sucky.
Yeah. But you get to watch it on video forever.
Yeah. I got to do all the hard work of
Yeah.
it, you know? So I got to actually go out on it, and I knew what I was getting into hopping on the machine. I sort of volunteered you to do it. I said, hey, Odin and I are going to do this. And
Okay. Am I going to fit in the machine? Can it handle me? I'm not exactly a little guy. Yeah, it was fine.
it wasn't too bad. I thought my legs were going to be dead at the end of the day, and they didn't feel as bad as I thought.
yeah, no.
But it is a pretty tough little race.
It is a pretty tough little race.
From the point where you go to the next point, which is really Lolita Hill, is where you're heading towards. There's a point where we do this drop, and then we come up the other side.
So yeah, the machine's got to go nose down and then come right back up again.
And then that's also the cool point is on day 2, you actually go along and you're on the freeways and everything else like that. And so that's a little crazy because the cars really don't slow down for you.
No, yeah, you're actually on 101 for a while.
Yeah, and I remember this from the race because I'm being pulled in a cart and I'm like down low in these cars, like the perfect height for a car just to take me out.
Take you right out, yeah.
And I'm shooting and the cars are coming right at me and it was freaky. And I'm pointed right at them. At least this time I didn't have to look at them as they're looking by me.
Yeah.
And then we go to Lolita Hill, which was awesome. And what was cool is, so in the episode, Dan goes down Lolita Hill with Brent.
Yes.
I actually got to go down Lolita Hill with Brent.
Brent.
And so Lolita Hill, I wanted to actually just book down no brakes. Because Brent was like in the episode, he's like, you know, if we just cruise down it, we're gonna go like 50 miles an hour. And I'm like, that sounds fun.
That sounds fun.
Woo! And Brent's like, no, we're not, we're gonna use brakes. I'll tell you when to brake. And I'm like, okay, but we could just book down. And I don't know if it was because of my excitement when we were going down.
Right.
But we didn't brake at all.
Not at all.
And we just went down no brakes and we were booking and it was fun. Day 3, we left the park where we all stayed, which was right on the beach.
Right on the beach, right.
We headed into, basically, it's
You go right to the first river crossing.
by the bridge.
It's by the bridge, an awesome old bridge.
So basically, the pilots are going across the river, and Scott jumped on with Susie, who was actually our rutabaga queen in the,
Right.
not in the episodes you saw on TV, but I did a special edition that
Right.
she was in. So they actually hop on the machine and cross with them, which is a little bit different than last time.
Yes, these two found a spot to ride pretty much right at the front of the fenders where the windshield is, like where the door would close, riding shotgun on either side of the machine. It was very cool.
Yeah, that looked like a lot of fun.
That did look like a lot of fun.
I wish I was on that. So then we get up, and there's actually a really steep hill that we helped push up the machine.
Yes,
That was probably the point where I felt like I was gonna die.
pretty much.
At some point, I think I saw like my life flash before my eyes halfway up the hill.
Right.
But it was like,
It's not really a hill so much as a 10-foot embankment.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we had to push up the machine up that, and then when you get up there, then it's pretty much smooth sailing into Ferndale.
Pretty
It's
much. Yeah. Then
beautiful.
Then it's,
country.
yeah. Oh, it is, because you're going through a huge pasture field for a while, and then you hit the roads, which are just. I swear it's all dairyland and cattle land out there, and it's awesome. It's picturesque.
Yeah.
And then it's just all flat all the way into Ferndale.
And we finished.
And we finished.
For me, it was a great experience, even though it was tough. The art was awesome. It was great being able to see Ken and June and everybody that was involved that we knew from before. Part of our team was there. Some of the team that we had when we did the race before was on other teams, but it was great to actually see everybody again and get to go out and do the race ourselves. Of course, if you really want to get the full-on experience of what happens, just watch the Beyond Geek episode. I mean, we
Yeah.
take you from like beginning to end on it, and it's pretty amazing. And you get to even see what goes into building these amazing pieces of art, because some of these like sculptures are like the size of a city block nearly.
Yes.
So they're massive art.
They're massive art sculptures. Yeah. And also in the Beyond Geek episode, there's a lot of history.
Yeah.
You got a lot of the Ken and June footage, and then when they use their kinetic machine to go from Humboldt to Florida, basically for the Pacific to the Atlantic, it took them a little while.
Took them a little bit of time.
Just a little bit of time, but they did it.
They did it, and
Yeah.
that's the amazing thing about this is, you know, people see the challenges, but they'll still go do it, and they love it, and people are passionate about it, and there's nothing better than doing something that people are passionate about.
Yeah.
And that's why I, you know, created Beyond Geek. I wanted to have a show where we could showcase people's passions and everything that they love, and you really get a sense of that by diving in with them and actually doing it. And there's races all over the country and in other parts of the world, so
Right.
I'd say go do it if you haven't done it.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you. This is Beyond Geek. If you haven't already hit the button below to subscribe, please do so. Leave a comment. Let us know how much of a doofus we sound like as we sit here and babble along without a script at all. And remember, if there's any complaints, address this guy.
Or go to Odin's channel and leave the complaints there.
Oh, jeez. All right, fine. If you want to do that.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. So thank you very much for watching this episode of Beyond Geek here on the web. If you want to see the full episode, it's actually available on Amazon. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do so, because Beyond Geek, we will be making more stuff for the web very soon.